Determined to be the father he hasn't been the last decade, SB Norwood takes on managing a Texas Panhandle ranch that's books aren't adding up. This is the Ranch Girl Reads podcast for ranch girls who want to read stories that capture the realities of life outside the city limits. Many books are either unrealistic Western romances or action packed adventures that aren't rooted in what real life is like. You want fresh stories without spending hours sifting through ones that don't fit the bill. I've been there. I'm here to introduce you to stories you can put on your backlist to share with your friends. I'm your host, Sequoyah Branham, author of award winning contemporary fiction In the Company of Cows and In Between Pastures. For today, let's dive into Hot Iron by Elmer Kelton. As a professional troubleshooter, finding lost horses and straightening out crooked deals is all in a day's work for S.B. Norwood. It's the troubles of his own life he can't seem to shake. When SB lands a job managing a ranch on the Texas Panhandle, he hopes it will give him the fresh start he so desperately needs. But now he's facing more trouble than ever. Landowners plot against him, determined cattle thieves sneak right under his nose, and his own son refuses to trust or even know him. It will take all of SB's skill and grit and a strong dose of determination to catch the thieves, save the ranch, and win his son's love. Elmer Kelton is one of my all-time favorite authors. I've read probably 80 to 90% of his works and would recommend all of them. In Hot Iron, he does a great job of creating a character that we can root for wholeheartedly. Um, we see SB on his journey to sobriety. He's been sober for a year when the story starts, but he hints at the struggle that it has been, and we see how he's been a poor father. The job that he has, the life that he lives, just makes it really hard for him to show up for his son and be involved with his life. And as the story plays out, we see so clearly his heart. SB is a very honest man and wants to get to the bottom of what is happening at the ranch, and he wants to get to the bottom of his son. Like, how do I be a good father? As the story plays out, there's decisions and situation those decisions get SB and his son Kenny in that particularly as a woman, even though I don't have my own kids yet, I'm a little bit like, dude, what are you doing? I don't know that this was the best way for you to choose to show up and be a father. But still, through that, you can see his heart so clearly. And it makes it so easy to just stand behind him so wholeheartedly. Um, and the character, Kenny, his son, really grows on me. It takes a little while for me to not just kind of want to shake him a little bit and say, "Hey, open your eyes to what you actually have." But he grows on me, and yeah, totally rooting for him. The story unravels from multiple points of view. You see some from SB, some from his son Kenny. There's a little bit from Kenny's aunt, which is a character all herself. Um, and then there's also a little bit from the man that SB's job has made an enemy of. And all of this come together to really give us as the reader a bird's eye view. And you can see these multiple people and multiple threads of the story all coming together, and you know that they're going to crash and it's going to be a lot of smoke. But just when you think you've kind of figured out like how that's going to come together, what the outcome might be, there's an obstacle from the other direction that just makes that not possible. And just it's really great the way that Kelton just brings those um twists together and all of these different threads and different people's motivations. Really, really great. As usual, Kelton does a wonderful job with the details of the landscape. Um, if you've spent much time in the Panhandle, you know that while we often think of just flat plains, lots of crops, lots of yearlings, lots of open space. If you've been there, you know that there actually are trees. There's, canyons and low spots and all of the good things. And Kelton does a really great job of just weaving that in so naturally. So if you've been there, you you're not jarred out by the fact of like that's not how it is. And if you haven't been there, it's just so seamlessly that I think it paints a very beautiful picture in your mind. And potentially, if you were to visit the Panhandle, you get there and you're like, "Oh, that makes sense." It all clicks together for you. So, as always, he does a great job of that. Um, the details are also on point again as usual. Um, from the running irons to the scuffles of young boys, he just really makes each scene really vivid and come to life. Um, as for most Elmer Kelton books, I really don't have any criticism. I could ask for a sequel if I could have that, but Kelton has passed away, so we're not getting that. But the story is very satisfying. The ending is very satisfying. So um, it's not a necessity. But I would just love to spend more time with these characters. This overall is one of my top favorites from Elmer Kelton. So much so that I named my mare Espy. I actually remembered that this was the book that it came from when I was revisiting it for this review. So that was super fun. Um, content warning wise, this book has some shootouts, fistfights, and the like. It doesn't get graphic. Nothing like that. It's just something to keep in mind if you are looking to share a book with your kids, just to have that on your mind. But overall, the story really showcases the fight for what is right. Um, Espy is determined to get down to the truth of what is actually happening. His boss that sent him there really needs him to get these books straightened out to save his hide. However, Espy's outlook on this is more about what is the truth and how are we going to bring people who are not conducting themselves correctly to justice. Um, if that means that his boss is still in a pickle, that's not what he wants, but he's more worried about what's the truth and who's at fault here. So yeah, it does a really great job just showcasing the fight for what is right, and the sacrifices that often come with that. So now, to share a little quote from the book. But S.B. Norwood could smell the fear that rose in the man, that rippled just underneath the skin, and he knew the reputation for what it was, a hoax. Norwood said, 450 head, maybe 500, the colonel lost off his winter range in Wyoming. You took them, Matt. You didn't know it, but we've watched you. We let you winter them, let you drive them down here. You were afraid to risk loading them at Dodge, where somebody might take too close a look, so you picked this place. Hot Iron is available wherever books are sold. You can get a hard copy, ebook, or audio. I listened to the audiobook of this and really enjoyed the production of it. The narrator does a super great job. Obviously, you can just look it up on Google, Amazon, all the places. I also have a link in the description if you want a handy one of those. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts and to send this episode to a friend. Word of mouth is the top way that both podcasts and books reach new people to enjoy them. If you have recommendations for books that I should review, drop me a note at sequoiahbranham.com. I would love to hear from you. I'll have that linked in the description as well. For a bite sized introduction to a story set deeply in the ranching lifestyle of West Texas, hop on over to my website for your free chapter of In the Company of Cows. You can find that at sequoiahbranham.com/newsletter. And a little nugget of what's been going in my life lately. Life hasn't been unfolding quite the way I would have it to here lately. I mean, frankly, when does it? But that's not the point. Um, what I really feel like the Lord has been meeting me with each time I come to see what should I do about this. Um, it's really just come back to be faithful to what I have given you the space and the time and the resources for. Um, which is so powerful and something that I feel like I've known and I've heard repeatedly before. Um, but I seem to have to relearn lessons. So for me, that has been the groundwork for this podcast. Learning about podcasting, I've been a guest several times, but never the host. Doing the legwork, reading the books, writing the reviews, um, and setting this all up to be able to send it out to you. I've also been marketing my books and the prayer guides that I wrote and recently released. And I've also gotten to play around with some new book ideas for the future. So, all good things, and I'm super thankful for the time to do them. Um, and yeah, excited for what's ahead. Um, and maybe you're in a similar spot. You're working your tail off for something that's just not coming together yet. I've been encouraged through my time with the Lord in prayer that it's okay to still reach and work and pray for that thing. But in the meantime, between here where I'm at, and that thing that I'm reaching for, to just be faithful with even the littlest thing that God has given you, right now. And I just want to encourage you to do the same. It may be boring and less than glamorous, and it may seem like you're pinching other resources, maybe time is what you have, um, and you're pinching other resources to be able to do this. Or maybe you have the funds, you have the knowledge, and it's the time that you're pinching a little bit and scraping by on. Um, but I would just encourage you to be faithful with what you have, take steps where you can, and other than that, keep praying, keep doing the work, and keep trusting the Lord to bring it in His timing. So, thanks so much for joining me today. I enjoyed it. I hope that you grab yourself a copy of Hot Iron and enjoy it as much as I have several times now. Um, until next time, enjoy your reading.